Welcome into the latest edition of the Stealing with the Boys podcast. I am your host, Junior Riddle, here, along with my boys,
Juwan Williams.
and no Coach Campbell again, man. Coach, listen, can't fault Coach Campbell for missing, man. He's out here grinding on his welding job that he's got going, working on the weekends, working early mornings. He's just not as readily available as he's been all season. So we'll make sure we get Coach Campbell back. Definitely here in the coming weeks as the season starts to wind down. But again, Steelers Lions today, 4:25 Eastern kickoff, 3:25 kickoff if you're in the Central Time Zone. But all in all, man, this is kind of a big game to gauge where the Steelers are really. But all in all, and we were talking about this pre-show because you're really pumped for this game. I'm not really pumped for this game. I'm excited that we get to watch a Steelers game today, but all in all, and this is going to mean towards the end of the season, and the Steelers making the playoffs. I just don't think this game has a lot of ramifications on it. So
You just gotta understand. You just have to understand the bigger picture of this. We win this game today. It shows a lot, and you might think that this is more than just playoff scenarios. This to give fans confidence that we actually can do this, and we actually have a chance against this good team that's in the hunt too. That's why it's so big because we're both playing for the playoffs, but it's bigger for us, I think, because of um, the word around the whole league that we're not a real contender. We're gonna get in the playoffs barely like we always do and not win a playoff game. But I'm telling you, the way that this team has been outperforming themselves ever since the whole fire Tomlin in the Bills game, which I think that was the spark of everything.
I'd hope so. I mean, listen, and I've said this to you, it's nothing against Mike Tomlin for my personal want for him to get let go or for the Steelers to move on. I root for him every single week. Like, it's not a lack of wanting him to be the head coach, but all in all, it's at the same time, like, if you're not trying to make those last adjustments to try and get the most out of this team when the fan base is calling for your job, then then we're not getting anything that we want. So, like, all in all, man, like, I think that Mike Tomlin doing what he's been doing the last couple weeks has been good for this team. But again, how is that going to translate into these later few games that we got that are super big? Like, Browns on the road, that's going to be a tough game. We've only won once in Cleveland since 2017. You know that, right? We've only beat them one time. That was Big Ben's last year. And so
Wasn't
every
both
other
the
year,
games on Thursday?
that's two of them. Two of them. We're on. Well, no, three of them. I'm sorry, three of them were on. But still, I mean, it's still lack of winning there on Sundays has been huge. And so for this game today, let's get into this matchup today, man. Let's talk about matchups and what we like, what we don't like. So you said that you've read a stat about this matchup to where it gives you some positive inclinations that it could go the Steelers' way. What's that matchup that you were talking about?
So the matchup that I was talking about was since the the refs wrong the coin toss call with uh the bus Thanksgiving 1998. Ever since then, the Steelers have not lost a game in Detroit. They haven't lost a game to Detroit, I don't think, period, since.
Last time we played them, it was a tie. I was
It was a
there,
tie. Yeah.
and so
Yeah, that was
I mean, but again, like, I don't, I flushed that down the toilet really because the Lions, up until the Matthew Stafford years, and even sometimes with the Matthew Stafford years, like, they were dog water. Like, they're a legitimately really good team right now, and they're also fighting for their playoff lives, right? Like, for us, that's why, like, for me, I think the Lions at home with the urgency they're going to be playing for, they can't afford a loss, dude. The Bears winning, the Packers are still ahead of them in the division because the Packers swept them. Like they're fighting for their playoff lives because they're on the outside looking in right now. Steelers can lose this game and still have they could lose this game and the Ravens could beat the Patriots tonight and still be in first place, right? And it really comes down to our final two divisional games. For this, the Lions are going to be at home fighting for their lives. So like I mean I don't know, like I get the stat, since the Jerome Bettis mishap, but I just don't think that plays a factor in today's game just because of how good this Lions team really is. Like they got a tough schedule. They played in some tough games, had some tough losses, but this is still a Super Bowl caliber team that we're going into play on the road. That's fighting for their playoff lives.
I understand the whole look. You see, Twitter, the whole social media has gotten in your head. Okay, the only reason I'm saying that is because the whole scenario of the last game being, I seen somebody say, if we lose this game, we should sit out players for the Browns game and then just worry about the Ravens game. No. I think that we go in here, we handle business. We go next week, we handle business. I'm saying that because I think personally that the Ravens are going to lose the next two games. I'm saying that because I think they're going to lose tonight against the Patriots. They definitely going to lose next week. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the Packers are in the hunt now. So they have something to play for too.
Yeah.
And I know that that Jordan Love had a concussion yesterday. Malik Willis ain't looked that bad.
No, and I'll say this: Malik Willis has looked a lot better under Matt LaFleur and just in that Green Bay system. So, but I listen. We're not gonna get too carried away. Let's look at the matchups in this game in particular, and let's see how the Steelers can navigate a win. The over under in this game, I don't know if you've looked at it, but it's really high. It's 52.5, so they're expecting a lot of scoring in this game. So, Juwan, where do you think the Steelers can exploit the Lions on the offensive end against their defense?
Just like how we game plan with the Colts. Make Jared Goff throw the ball. If we can attack if we let Jared Goff throw the ball and limit, because there's no stopping, limit their running back duo, that plays a huge part. And like we did last week, I feel like Rodgers is getting more comfortable with the offense now since we got the veterans presence of Valdez Game and Adam Thielen, and we're using the middle of the field, which we've been asking for really for the past 2-3 years. Just use the middle of the field. We continue to do that, I think we have a better chance.
So I think if Aaron gets good protection, and again that's gonna be a tall order here going up against Aiden Hutchinson, because I think he's the next like guy when you're talking about the young edge rushers that are coming up in the league. I feel like he's going to be winning some defensive player of the years here in the next few years. I think he's the real deal, going up against Dylan Cook, even though he played extremely well last week against the Dolphins. How is this offensive line going to hold up? Because if they get time today and they're able to run the ball, because I think Detroit's defense will allow them to be able to run the ball a little bit more than what we've seen outside of what we saw against the Dolphins this past week. If Aaron gets time to throw the ball, I think the Steelers have a chance to stay in this game. If he doesn't, and Hutchinson's getting back there and disrupting, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be ugly. But I think the key to the Steelers getting going on offense is obviously keeping Rodgers clean. If you keep Rodgers clean, I don't see why the Steelers can't put up anywhere from 20 to 24 points and try and be in this game towards the end of it. Defensively, though, like you mentioned, I think it comes down to stopping the run. Whenever teams have shut the Lions down in their run game and like you said, forcing it to Jared Goff, that plays into our hand today. So but this is probably the best running back duo best overall running scheme in the entire NFL. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs he's that guy. Like Jahmyr Gibbs is that guy. Like he's like Jamal Charles 2.0 type guy, but maybe even better talent wise than Jamal Charles. Um, and so it's gonna be tough. You know, Derek Harmon's coming back. Still no T.J. Watt. No Nick Herbig as well. He's officially out. So it's gonna be Highsmith and Jack Sawyer out there. How are these guys going to contain these running backs? That's what I need to know. And is Derek Harmon coming back going to be enough? So if they keep Rodgers clean and let Rodgers have time to throw the ball down the field, and if they can just limit, and like you said, there ain't going to be no stopping them. But if they can limit them, then that's going to be a huge boost in today's game. So let's go ahead and get into our predictions. Juwan, I can tell you're feeling positive about this game. I'm going to tell you you're smoking if you pick the Steelers to win this one. But go ahead with your score prediction for today's matchup.
Well, I love, you know, being the underdog because, you know, when Junie doesn't believe that they're going to win, they somehow win this game.
I'm telling you right now. I have zero faith that they're going to win this game. But keep going.
I will say this before I make the prediction. I will say this: if Cook has a great game, a good game, not great. If he outperforms himself against Hutchinson, we're gonna have to start having some questions. It'll be a battle next year. That's all I'm gonna say about that. It'll definitely be a battle at left tackle next year.
Yeah,
But
I mean he did show really, really well against
like,
solid edge group in Miami.
yeah, if you look at the all 22 of just him, yeah, he's like that.
It
But
was looking nice.
you know, I understand that you have zero doubts, but you also got to remember who owns the NFC North. Who's our quarterback? I remember a time. This is when we was doing prediction, and it was. But I think we was talking about the Dolphins game, and I said I think the Dolphins will win this game because I think we'll go to Chicago and beat Chicago. No, I said we'll lose this game. We'll lose against Chicago. My bad. We'll lose against Chicago, but we'll win against the Dolphins. And you reminded me that we have Aaron Rodgers, and he owns the Bears. Now, Aaron Rodgers is 18-8 versus the Lions, but he does own the NFC North. So I'm putting on my faith in Rodgers. I have us winning. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think we hit the over. Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. 35-34.
Jeez.
Last second field goal.
How would that be a field goal though? 35 that's 5 touchdowns right there.
I'm saying
they'd have to have 32. They'd have to have 32 points to think they're gonna have 32 points. Oh, okay.
I gotta win this game. 35-34.
So I don't think it's I don't like us in this game at all. I don't like this matchup for us. Detroit's a tough place to play. The Steelers can lose this game, and they still control their own destiny by being able to win the last two. I know what this win would do to help that, but historically, Tomlin on the road against NFC opponents, especially when it doesn't mean much, I just don't know. I think Tomlin's a motivator, right? When he puts out what the guys need to go out and get, they play up to that. When you're hyping these guys up to come out and play in a tough road environment against an NFC team when it doesn't really count against you or any tiebreakers this game just doesn't have a lot of impact for the Steelers when it comes to keeping them in the playoff race, because again, they lose this week and then they go and beat the Browns and they beat the Ravens the final 2 weeks. This game doesn't matter. And so for me, and knowing the coach that Tomlin is, I know what kind of games I feel like he can get these guys up for. And I just don't think that this is the game. And so Detroit needs it. If Detroit loses this game, I mean, their playoff hopes are just, I mean, down, like almost out if they lose this game. And so I just don't see how they don't come out firing and try and come out playing their best game. So I'm taking Detroit, and I liked your number for Detroit, 34 points. I'm gonna go 34 21. 34-21. And I got the Lions. I got the Lions winning this game. 34-21. I don't think it's going to be particularly pretty. I think that this is just I think this is a bad matchup for us. I don't think we have a whole lot to play for, and the Lions have everything to play for. And so I get what you're saying. Like from us as a fan perspective, this is a big game for us because we know we're going up against a true Super Bowl contender on the road, and this will be a great game for us to try and test to see where we truly are. But ultimately, I think they're going to be saving their best stuff for these next 2 weeks, knowing how hard it is to play Cleveland and how close the game is every time we play the Ravens. And
I
so,
think that I know you said that that Tomlin, like, this is not a game to motivate, but I think it is. With all the
what?
heat
But
that's on Tomlin, I think this is a big game that will
the
put
last
him.
the last two were must wins, or we were toast. You know what I mean? And he won those. But again, like those are AFC games. Ravens game was a divisional game on the road. Like those are things that he can get us up to play for. But I'm telling you right now, like if there's one game that I just don't think that we are winning on the remainder of our schedule, it's this one. And so I'm going with the Lions in this matchup. I don't see a way unless they completely shut the run down and Rodgers just has one of those games, and we've seen a handful of them where he's just dicing it up. I just don't see it. So let's go ahead and get into our steal of the week here. One player prop, one touchdown scorer, and I think it'd be fitting that we kind of use guys on both sides of the both teams here. So Juwan, what is your player prop and touchdown scorer steal of the week?
All right. So, let me look to make sure. Go on here, make sure. So I'm gonna go with. Let's make sure I get this correct. Let me go. Hmm. Have you looked at these lines? These lines are crazy.
They're high. I'm
Okay.
telling you, they think this is going to be a high scoring game, and I would agree with them.
Okay. I'm gonna do it this week.
Okay.
Adam
Okay.
Thielen touchdown.
You did this last week.
But this is why I'm saying this. Adam Thielen touchdown. He's used to the NFC North. He's used to the Lions. He knows their tendencies. Adam Thielen will get a touchdown today.
Oh Lord. All right.
Oh Lord!
What about?
Wait! You said, "Oh Lord!" You said, "Oh Lord!" But I was the same one last week that said Jonnu Smith touchdown. He was like, "No." You said the same thing. Oh Lord! I don't think he'll get it. I said, "Watch, he'll get it on his old team." And what happened?
All right, then stick with the Adam Thielen. But then again, you said Adam Thielen knows the Lions. He hadn't played in the NFC North. He's been with the Panthers. He
I
came for the
know.
Vikings. Says he just played for the Vikings for a couple games this year. I digress. Stick with Adam Thielen. Who's your player prop? Over under on the yards.
Mm, can I do an alternate? Let me do an alternate.
Sure bet.
Valdez-Scantling to get 15 yards
Valdez-Scantling to get 15 yards.
plus 112.
Okay, I think that's a good bet right there. I think that's a good bet. I'm gonna go anytime touchdown scorer. Mm, 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 mm. You know what? I'm gonna double up on my boy today. I'm gonna double up on my boy. Pat Fryermuth, 19 and a half is his over under. I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna double up. I'm gonna say Pat scores a touchdown. I feel like all the tight ends have been getting a lot of love. A lot of the tight ends been getting a lot of love. I'm double up on Pat. Pat anytime touchdown, Pat over 19 and a half. He's gonna get more than 20 yards receiving today. I like the Muth. I like the Muth today.
I'm about to put this in right now so we can see what the odds are for.
Just
What's crazy?
a 4-leg parlay.
Neither one of us said Gibbs or Montgomery.
I mean, I didn't want to go too basic. I mean, I think those are easy ones to pick. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is scoring almost every game.
Yeah.
He's almost scoring every game. So
where's the receiving? So we said Valdez-Scantling for 15, and you said
Pat doubled up for Pat. Pat touchdown and Pat over 19 and a half yards. Okay. He's plus 430 for the touchdown, and receiving, I mean, it's all minus 112 for 19 and a half. What does that come out to for $10?
$1,200.
Really? Dang. That's that's for $10. For $10, that's a lot.
Fryermuth touchdown, Adam Thielen touchdown, Valdez-Scantling 15, and Pat Fryermuth his over.
It makes sense though. It makes sense because Adam Thielen ain't scoring in this game. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He ain't scoring in this game. He ain't scoring in this game.
Said this before. I also would sprinkle. I'll say this. I'll sprinkle a little on the over Jalen Warren receiving yards at 11.5.
11 and that's not bad. That's one reception. I feel like he's been getting some looks on the dump offs there. But no, man, I think all in all, not going to be the best game for the Steelers. You think they're going to win? I think it's going to be a tough one today, and I think they're going to be saving it for the next 2 weeks against some major divisional opponents. But we will see. Either way, this will be a great test to see how they come out and play. And I think it even if they stick in this game, I think it's some good signs to be had. So all in all, enjoy the game today. Hopefully they keep it close. Hopefully they can ride in and prove me wrong once again. That is the tale of the season, is proving me wrong. So hopefully they keep that up and can make it somewhat of a game. But all in all, any last comments before we hop off here?
I got one more thing. I'm about to pull it up right now because you don't have no faith. Let me go ahead. Do this. This would be the one. Come on. Where's it at? Is he gonna let me do it? All right.
We got it.
Trying to bring it up. Share screen. It's not sharing. Oh well. What did Tomlin say in 2008? It's time to raise hell in December. We're 2-0. We're 2-0. We're undefeated in December. It's time to raise hell. That's all I have to say about that.
All right. We'll see. We'll see. For the Stealing with the Boys podcast, game day episode, we are out.
Here we go.